Today, we will read the book 1984, written by George Orwell, a chilling and thought-provoking novel that paints a terrifying picture of a dystopian future. Published in 1949, 1984 explores the consequences of totalitarianism, mass surveillance, and the manipulation of truth. Orwell's masterpiece takes us into a world where every thought is monitored and freedom is nothing more than a distant dream. As we dive into this powerful story, we'll uncover the lessons it offers, which resonate just as strongly today as they did when it was first published. So let's begin the journey into the dark, oppressive world of 1984. Imagine living in a world where every thought, every action, and every word you speak is watched and controlled by an all-powerful government. A world where history is rewritten, where the truth is what the government says it is, and where freedom doesn't even exist as a concept. This is the chilling reality that George Orwell presents in his novel 1984. Published in 1949, 1984 is a grim exploration of a future dominated by totalitarian rule, and it remains one of the most influential works of dystopian fiction to this day. The novel paints a picture of a society where the individual is powerless against the might of the party, and where truth itself is something that can be manipulated, controlled, and erased. The story takes place in a superstate called Oceania, which is made up of the Americas, Britain, and parts of Africa. This state is ruled by a single, omnipotent party, headed by a figure known only as Big Brother. But Big Brother is more than just a leader. He's a symbol of the party's control over every aspect of life. The people of Oceania live under constant surveillance, and they're reminded of this at every turn with the slogan, "Big Brother is watching you." It's not just a threat, it's a reality. There's no privacy. There are telescreens everywhere, devices that both broadcast party propaganda and monitor the citizens. In this world of constant surveillance, the party controls not only the actions of the people, but their thoughts as well. There's even something called thought crime, which means that if you even think against the party, you can be arrested, tortured, and executed. The party's grip is absolute. No one is allowed to question its authority, its version of history, or the truths it presents. The party dictates what reality is, and it changes the past to suit its needs. It controls everything, even the language the people use to express themselves. Newspeak, the official language of Oceania, is designed to limit the range of thought, erasing words that could potentially be used to express dissent. The idea is that if people can't even think of rebellious ideas, they can't rebel. Amidst all this oppression, we meet Winston Smith, the protagonist of the story. Winston works for the Ministry of Truth, which is ironically responsible for rewriting history to fit the party's narrative. His job is to alter past documents, removing any evidence that contradicts the party's version of events. On the outside, Winston is just another party member. He's outwardly obedient and loyal, but inwardly he despises the party and everything it stands for. He secretly longs for freedom, for truth, and for a world where the party doesn't control every aspect of his life. Winston's rebellion starts small. He begins by keeping a secret diary, an act that is considered a thought crime. In it, he writes down his hatred for Big Brother, the party, and the entire system that controls him. But Winston knows that what he's doing is dangerous. He knows that if the thought police catch him, it will mean his death. Yet in his heart, he feels a desperate need to preserve something, his own thoughts, his own freedom, even if they're just written on paper and hidden away in secret. It's in this dark, oppressive world that Winston meets Julia, a young woman who also works for the Ministry of Truth. Julia is not like Winston in the sense that she doesn't care about overthrowing the party or analyzing the truth of the world around her. She's more pragmatic, more interested in living her life outside of the party's reach. She has her own rebellion, a personal one. She secretly despises the party too, but rather than focusing on the party's control over history, she wants to experience life, love, and freedom in whatever way she can. She and Winston begin an illicit affair, meeting secretly and sneaking away from the prying eyes of the party. Their affair represents a brief moment of freedom. It's a rebellion of the spirit, a small act of resistance against a regime that demands total control. For a while, Winston and Julia feel that they have escaped the party's clutches, but the party's control is insidious. No one can escape its watchful eyes, and soon Winston and Julia are caught by the thought police. They are arrested, tortured, and taken to the Ministry of Love, a place where people are broken both physically and mentally. It's in the Ministry of Love that Winston's world truly unravels. O'Brien, a high-ranking party member who Winston once believed was part of a resistance group called the Brotherhood, reveals his true allegiance. O'Brien is not a rebel. He is loyal to the party. He uses Winston's hope for rebellion to bait him, leading him to believe that there's a way out of the party's control. But it's all a lie. The Brotherhood doesn't exist. It's just another tool the party uses to trap rebels like Winston. Winston is subjected to brutal torture. His body is broken and his mind is manipulated. O'Brien uses a technique called doublethink, where contradictory beliefs are accepted at the same time. He forces Winston to accept that 2 + 2 = 5, a simple yet terrifying example of the party's ability to control reality itself. Through physical pain and psychological manipulation, O'Brien forces Winston to abandon any remaining resistance. The party doesn't just control the body, it controls the mind. It forces people to accept whatever reality the party creates. The ultimate test of Winston's loyalty comes in room 101, a place where prisoners are faced with their greatest fear. For Winston, this fear is rats. When he is confronted with them, he is driven to the breaking point, and in a moment of desperation, he betrays Julia. It's a heartbreaking moment, as Winston, who once loved her, now turns on her to save himself. This act of betrayal symbolizes the complete collapse of Winston's spirit. The party has broken him, and he has been reshaped into a perfect, obedient servant of Big Brother. By the end of the novel, Winston is a hollow shell of the man he once was. He no longer has any will of his own. He loves Big Brother. The rebellion that once burned so brightly inside him has been snuffed out. The party has won. Not just his body, but his mind, his spirit, his soul. In this world, there's no room for rebellion, no room for freedom, no room for truth. The party controls everything, and the individual is powerless against it. 1984 is not just a story of one man's struggle against tyranny. It is a powerful critique of totalitarianism, surveillance, and the manipulation of truth. Orwell's vision of a future where the government controls not only the actions of its people, but the very thoughts is terrifyingly prescient. The themes of surveillance, propaganda, and historical revisionism are just as relevant today as they were when the novel was first published. In a world where privacy is constantly under threat, where information is manipulated for political gain, and where freedom of expression is increasingly limited, Orwell's warnings in 1984 are more important than ever. Winston's journey is a tragic one. It is a warning to us all about the dangers of unchecked power, the erosion of personal freedom, and the consequences of allowing a government to control the very truth of our reality. Orwell's message is clear. If we are not vigilant, if we do not fight for our rights and our freedoms, we risk living in a world where, like Winston, we may one day find ourselves loving Big Brother. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. And always remember, never stop questioning the world around you, and never stop fighting for truth and freedom.